Wealth, yoga, wine. Welcome to my podcast. I'm Valerie Hale. Change your brain chemistry to change your life. Do you know that our brains naturally produce happy hormones? Those hormones are serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, even melatonin, which helps us sleep well. I'm going to share 3 quick tips on how you can produce happy hormones. Now think, would you rather have every day surrounded by happy hormones or being depressed and anxious, drama and trauma in your life? When you change your brain chemistry, you're going to improve your life. Even with these traumatic times, it helps to have happy hormones in your back pocket. There are 3 ways you can increase your happy hormones immediately: breathing, listening to music, and images, meaning your imagination. When we breathe, we generally just breathe down to our chest, our breast level. The healthy way to breathe, and I learned this 28 years ago studying Kundalini yoga, and even Mary Morrissey teaches this, the correct way to breathe is down to your belly. Teach yourself how to do this by putting your hand around your belly button. Place it on your belly button flat. Breathe deep to your belly button, and what that does is, it's like a washing machine. It cleanses our blood. It cleanses our lymph nodes. It cleanses our lungs. You can prevent viruses by breathing in certain ways. Now, this takes practice. I don't breathe down to my belly every day. Well, I do because I do Kundalini yoga every morning. But you have to be cognizant of how to breathe. The easiest way to do it is to put your hand on your belly and simply breathe deep. Practice this several times a day to finally get the idea that your breathing is one of the easiest ways to create happy hormones. What happens when you breathe deep like this, it brings oxygen to your brain. Why is that so important? Because you can think creatively, you can think more creatively. I think that's incorrect English. You become more creative when you breathe deep, because it brings oxygen to your brain. When you have oxygen to your brain, you respond to situations rather than reacting and not making very good decisions. Also, have you noticed when children have temper tantrums, or teenagers, or even us as adults, they have stopped breathing. And they don't think any longer because the other kind of hormones, the negative ones, have taken over their thought process. That's why breathing is so important. And that's why I have studied Kundalini yoga for 28 years, every day without fail. Even if it's for 1 or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, you get the happy hormones kicking in when you do Kundalini yoga. Many of these breathing techniques have been on my podcast details for 2 years almost now. So I'm going to have 2 more links, and I want to bring up how important it is to have your children learning Kundalini yoga. These are traumatic times. Our children are going through hell. I'm sorry, but the Texas and the Buffalo, it's Sandy Hook, it's enough. Your children deserve to have happy hormones also. We're seeing teen suicide. Young children are going through suicide. This kind of yoga teaches them how to control their emotions, teaches them how to prevent bullying. It teaches them how to be more self-aware of their own selves and how to make better choices in their lives. I am a proponent of Kundalini yoga because 2 of the teachers, Guru Jagat and Hariprakaash, specifically teach Kundalini yoga for children. Hariprakaash says from the ages of 5 all the way up to young adults, She has been teaching them for 20 years, and she sees them growing up in more control of their lives. They're not stuck in fear and anxiety and depression. They understand happy hormones. Enough said. Wine. What do you think is the allure of France and South Africa? Two of my favorite producers, Vincent Careme and his wife Tanya. Tanya was raised in South Africa. Now, South Africa is huge, so I'm specifically talking about the Western Cape, where Vincent Careme's vineyards are just an hour from Cape Town itself. It's in Swartland. Swartland is actually Dutch. For those of you who love history, the Dutch occupied South Africa for many, many years. A lot of the influence there is Dutch. Vincent Careme was so enamored with the land and location, and that is part of one of the main attractions, the allure for the French vintners: location, location, location. For them, it's terroir, terroir, terroir. The climate there is very conducive to making beautiful wines. It's dry, it is hot, it's not humid. They don't have to worry about pest control, pesticides, as sometimes they do in the Loire Valley, for instance. Also, with Vincent Careme, he can produce his wines, as will Lady Langsenk, from November until February. So November they'll start to harvest, and in February they'll start to bottle. This is complete opposite of what's going on in France. So for them it's highly beneficial to have 1 foot in France and 1 foot in what they call the Western Winelands. He specifically focuses on the Chenin Blanc for his Le Blanc in Terre Brûlée is the name of his vineyards in Cape Town, in South Africa, Swartland. The Rouge is called Le Rouge, and it's Cinsault and Shiraz. You cannot get any more simple than this. Please text me, send me an email. Happy to help you find these wines. The Glenelly Vineyards, which is the 78-year-of-age woman, Lady Langsenk, who is famous for Pichon Lalande in Pauillac. At 78, she wanted to start a new adventure and looked around the world and claimed Glenelly as hers. She is fascinating, obviously, because at 78, she created this whole new venture. But even more so, the facility itself, the building from where the wines are produced, there are 5 floors of gravity fed. That's going to be another conversation in another podcast, what that means. But it's not done by electricity. So once the wines are vinified, they've gone through malolactic, etc., it's simply a gravity-fed process to get them into the bottles. She is adamant to have a green footprint. The building itself is partially underground, therefore they're going to be using the geothermal technique for cooling and, well, just cooling. You really don't need to heat. That's what's so fascinating about this specific vineyard, and plus the fact that it is stunningly gorgeous. She has 3 levels of production as far as bottling. The first one is the glass collection. Very simple, easy to quaff wine. The second one is the Glenelly, where it actually is going to be bottled it's going to ferment, for a year and then be bottled. The last one is Lady May, named after her. That is all estate-driven fruit, single vineyards, a little pricier, of course, than all the other 2. Beautiful wines. Again, contact me. Happy to help you find these wines. They are not everywhere. They're very unique. Certainly worth your summer enjoyment. In conclusion, breathing is super important to create the happy hormones. It is easy to do. Breathing, music, and images. When you invoke images, I want you to say to yourself, I am a pilot, I am a teacher, I am a doctor, I am building a new house, I am a traveler. This is how you get the images. So when you are invoking your happy hormones, the 3 quick tips is going to be breathing, music, and images. You want to invoke your imagination in order to get those images. And it doesn't have to be a career. It doesn't have to be a large house. It can be something that's pushing you into the world instead of being complacent and thinking drama and trauma is where you belong. Change that stuff. Start saying, I am, I am, I am. I am doing this thing. Kundalini yoga for me is the best yoga also to instill those happy hormones. Get your children involved with something like this. This is a new science. It's a new medicine that's been around for 5,000 years in India. We need to help our children, and this is such a good way to help them become self-aware and control their emotions. Happy hormones usually don't carry a gun with them. Lastly, South Africa. The allure between the French and South Africans is all about terroir, all about location, making beautiful wines, sustainably grown. Contact me. I'm happy to help you find these wines. To wrap this up, I'm not a consultant. I'm not a life coach. This podcast is produced weekly to enhance people's lives globally, one podcast at a time. Merci et au revoir.